We have a tagline, which is, "It all begins with a meal." When we started back in 2008, we served peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and coffee a couple of afternoons a week, and then we have grown. So folks come in for a variety of reasons. They come in because they're hungry. They come in because they're isolated. They need a place where they're not going to be judged. And they come because some can't make ends meet. They are on fixed incomes. So we try to help relieve that by saying, for clothing and for food, come here and get what you need, to just try to take the pressure off of them a little. I'm the Reverend Shirley Bowen. I'm the Executive Director of the Seeds of Hope Neighborhood Center.
The history of Christ Church in Biddeford, Maine is the story of how this church, organized in 1869 to meet the spiritual needs of mill workers from England, developed into a working-class parish who dedicated themselves to nourishing their congregation and, through outreach, their neighborhood and all of Biddeford. Throughout their history, the church was committed to the community, and the choices they made, through periods of growth and decline and frequent financial struggle, reflect that. In 2008, the congregation of Christ Church in Biddeford decided to let go. And in doing so, they intentionally transformed from a house of worship to a Jubilee Center, now sharing God's presence and abiding love with so many more people than they ever would have as Christ Church.
We had a small endowment. They could have elected to drop me down to quarter time, and they could have limped along for another few years. And they said to each other, that is not what we think is a faithful call that God wants us to do in this community, because we've started taking care of people who are really desperate and need help, and that's what we should be doing. We became a Jubilee Center in 2008, but we got permission from the diocese for Christ Church to become a non-worshiping congregation and for the resources to be dedicated to the work of Seeds of Hope. We decided to explore becoming a Jubilee Center. And initially we hadn't considered it because we didn't see ourselves like the one in Lewiston. But then we realized that we could form our own vision of a Jubilee Center, which is what we did. We talked with our partners and talked with people in the community and said, well, this is what we can offer. We can do this, which was initially peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and coffee. And then gradually we added a little bit more food and another day of the week. And when the Career Center closed in Saco in 2008, when the crash hit, and people were losing jobs and they were closing the Career Center. So we said we have to do something about that. So we created a Career Center to help people who needed to get back in the saddle once the jobs came back again. So we have just historically listened to the community. If the need's not being met, then we ask ourselves, is it consistent with our mission and can we do it? And then if so, we figure out how to get it done.
My name's Pamela Balducci, and I've lived here in Maine going on 3 years.
My name is Aaron Doucette, and I've been homeless in Biddeford for about 2 years now.
My name is Richard Brochu. I grew up here in Biddeford. I've been here for 28 years.
I heard of Seeds of Hope just from all the neighborhood kids. A lot of the young people in the area, they all seem to want to come here. I think there's other places for them to go, but they prefer to come here.
Warm food, a place to go and socialize with friends with no worries, and enjoy a cup of coffee, or, coming out of the woods on a cold winter morning, like you need a little pick-me-up, and to have a good place to do so, a safe place and wonderful people, It's definitely helpful. Start your morning in a good mood.
Seeds of Hope. It's a place where you can go and you're not shunned away. It's a place where you can go and get food if you need it. It's a place where you can go to get counseling. Anything.
Well, they provide lunches and stuff, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be eating good every day. You don't realize how hard things are until you get out there and have to start paying your rent and all your other expenses that add up.
You describe Seeds of Hope to someone who had never heard of it before.
A great place to try to start over and pick up, It's just like if you don't know what to do or where to go, there's people here to help you, or at least point you in the right direction. Get you off your feet, get you at least feeling better about life.
My whole life, experience has been here. At Seeds of Hope, at In a Pinch, at Go Green. I went to high school here. I met a lot of my great friends from here. A lot of great people that have guided me on my journey of path.
Me, I'm trying to go back to work after 18 years, and so they helped me update my resume. I'm on to a good start.
Reverend has helped me through a lot of #deep times where I felt like I needed someone to pray for me. It was the kindness and kind of a second mother, and to get somebody who doesn't know me and only knows what I'm saying and sees me crying in front of them. It's amazing. I don't know how they are able to shut their own personal stuff off to come here and help us with our issues.
What would you say about Reverend Shirley over here?
I will say she doesn't judge. She's not a judgmental person, and when she didn't really know any of us, and she let us come in here, have our Go Green meetings when we were all just a bunch of punk kids.
Tell us more. What is Go Green?
Go Green is it's a group that got together when my two friends got shot on South Street.
The two brothers who were murdered, their last name was Green. The night after the murder, a vigil was held just down the street, and I went because I felt I needed to be there, and immediately one of the young people came up and grabbed me. She saw my collar, and she came up and grabbed me and said, "We need a prayer." I said, "Okay." She got everyone's attention. I did a prayer. People spoke, and we had just started having neighborhood meetings, and we were having them here because people were concerned about some of the crime in the area. It was really clear that after that we needed to have a meeting right away because there were just feelings all over the place, as you can imagine, at the vigil. So we let everyone know about the next meeting, and we had a huge turnout. And one of the things that came out of that meeting was there were some adults who were supporting the young people who were the friends, but from their perspective, nobody would help them, and they didn't know what to do, and they were literally meeting in a condemned building. And I said, "That's got to stop. This will be your home. I will support you any way we can." And there was a group, mostly family members of the two boys who were murdered, and then their group of friends that we just started meeting regularly. And it was an extraordinary experience of trying to support them through this real anguish.
We banded together to stop bullying, stop all the the gangs that were around here, just to stop everything. And it was a sad moment, but a happy moment at the same time. I can't really explain how it felt, because it all happened so fast. I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel when I was 15.
Yeah.
I was going down a dark road, and if it wasn't for Seeds of Hope, if it wasn't for In a Pinch, there's a lot of ladies that I owe a big thanks to, and a lot of gentlemen that I owe a big thanks to.
Yeah.
We always said the ministry didn't end, it just transformed. there were times when this was a very vibrant parish, and even as the membership was declining, they had so much faith. They were deeply faithful, both to God and to each other. Our final service here was Christmas Eve in 2012. And, people said, oh, you must be, so upset. And it's hard to close a parish. But I was also so excited about what was happening, and that it was birthed by these people of Christ Church. And they were faithful in being servants to God's children. Short-term legacy is that people know that they can come here and be loved and not judged. And that's what I say to my volunteers: if you can't do anything else, just love them, and all the rest is gravy. Longer-term legacy, and it feels a near impossibility, but I'm not going to stop, and that is that everybody who lives outside has a roof over their head. That's what I would like our longest-term legacy to be.
The Spirit of Christ is alive at the Seeds of Hope Neighborhood Center. The holy conversations within its walls have given more visibility to God's presence and love, as manifested in the work of Seeds of Hope, than the small parish of Christ Church could have done on its own. The building of Christ Church, now Seeds of Hope, is fostering worship, although in a different way. When caring for God's people is the foundation of the conversation in our communities, truly, the listening and sharing are holy.